Conservative Media peeps, what's up? It's me, John D. Villarreal and Paul at Villarreal. We just saw this Bernard Hopkins, the executioner, versus John Pascal World Championship fight in Montreal, Canada, and I have to say straight up that they robbed Bernard Hopkins, the American, the Philly fighter who was beating down Pascal, who was all just resorted to holding and hitting in the back of the head and all kinds of other little BS tactics and whatnot. Yeah, Pascal had 2 knockdowns. One was a hit behind the head, you know, that was like whatever in the first round. I mean, Pascal got outworked, he got outboxed, he got outslicked, everything. There was really hardly any rounds other than those first couple rounds that Pascal won, and even one of those knockdown rounds where he had a little flash knockdown, he was losing that round. So that could have been a 10-9 round. I don't see how you could have given this fight and you scored, and Paul's going to go through it, anything, and the best you could do if you're really trying to fish out for Pascal is make it a draw, which is what they did. I had this thing 114 to 112 for Bernard Hopkins, and you could have even made it 115, you know, for Bernard Hopkins. It's ridiculous. I don't like it. This is exactly why the Canadian MMA fans are BS, complete homers again. Paul, how'd you see this fight? They robbed Bernard Hopkins of his record-breaking championship title.
I agree with you completely. I think it's a straight robbery. I gave Bernard Hopkins the last 7 rounds of the fight. Al Bernstein had it, as you did, 114 to 112, which means that, and on that scorecard, Bernard Hopkins won 6 of the final 7 rounds. 2 of the unofficial judges, Bernard Fernandez and I can't remember the other guy's name, they also had it 115 to 111, Bernard Hopkins, and the other one had it 115 to 112. I just think it was 9 rounds to 3. Bernard Hopkins schooled him. The only rounds that he lost were the 2 knockdown rounds and the 5th round. John Pascal was sticking and moving in the 5th round. Other than that, he got shut out. Basically, this was a reverse Calzaghe-Hopkins. In that fight, Calzaghe dominated the second half of the fight. In this fight, Bernard Hopkins dominated the second half of the fight. Look, I mean, the punch stats and everything else show it. I think Bernard Hopkins got straight robbed, and it's just unfortunate. And just like Bernard Hopkins said in the post-fight interview, this is bad for the sport. He clearly won. He got jobbed. Don't look for a rematch because, you know, it'll probably be even worse then, even though Hopkins is older.
They're scared. Why don't you issue them a rematch? This is unbelievable. This is bad for the sport. People are going to be really upset about that. The little Montreal, Quebecers think they're whatever like that. There's way more fans, way more money in America, whatever. You're going to turn people off to this. This could have been an enormous story. Hopkins earned it. Hey, Hopkins had more punches thrown. He was busier by over 100, about 100 or over 100 punches. He had more punches landed by over, almost 70 punches, whatever. He had more power shots landed. He beat him in every stat. In every stat.
That's the thing. This fight wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. I mean, he just dominated the second half of the fight. It was a shutout. The last 7 rounds, he schooled him. This is bunk. This is just totally bogus.
I mean, Pascal was warned maybe once for hitting behind the head. He was doing it constantly. He was doing all kinds of silly stuff. It was unbelievable. I mean, every round, Hopkins was hitting him multiple times just cleanly with just lead overhand rights and just blowing him up and hard body shots. I mean, he had the better punches, the cleaner punches. He was busier. Everybody knew it. You could see at the end of the fight that Pascal looked like he was beat. His own corner told him that he needed that last round. This is ridiculous. And this is why the Canadian fight fans suck. Bernard Hopkins, I think he got jobbed, he got robbed. And we demand a rematch right now. For Conservative Media, I am John, that is Paul. We're Conservative Media, and we'll see you next time.